Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. The world of numismatics is full of fascinating stories, historical significance, and a bit of mystery. Among the coins that have captured the attention of collectors and investors alike is the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin. This coin, with its rich design and deep connection to American history, has become a prized possession for many. But what makes this coin so special? Why does it hold such value? And how did a coin that was once circulated widely come to be worth so much today? To understand the importance of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar, we need to step back in time. The early 1970s were a period of significant change for the United States. America was recovering from the turbulence of the 1960s, a decade marked by political unrest, social movements, and the Vietnam War. But in 1971, the country was on the brink of a new era, one defined by technological progress, the exploration of space, and a growing national pride. This was a time when the United States had just emerged victorious in the space race, landing astronauts on the moon in 1969. The nation was looking for ways to celebrate its accomplishments and reinforce its identity as a global superpower. Enter the Eisenhower dollar, a coin that would embody this new chapter in American history. Named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, the coin was first minted in 1971. Eisenhower had played a pivotal role during World War II as a five-star general, leading the Allied forces to victory in Europe. His leadership during the war earned him the admiration of millions, and his presidency was marked by efforts to promote peace and stability during the Cold War. As a way to honor his contributions, the U.S. Mint decided to feature his likeness on the newly designed dollar coin. The design of the coin is an iconic one. On the obverse side, we see a profile of President Eisenhower, with his strong features and confident gaze. The details in the engraving capture the essence of his leadership, stern yet thoughtful, resolute yet compassionate. This image is surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of minting, 1971. It's a fitting tribute to a man who led the nation through some of its most challenging times. On the reverse side, the design takes a bold step forward, symbolizing the achievements of the United States in the 20th century. The reverse features an eagle landing on the moon, gripping an olive branch in its talons. This image directly references the success of the Apollo 11 mission, which had landed astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon just 2 years earlier, in 1969. The eagle, representing the strength and freedom of America, perches on the lunar surface, symbolizing the nation's triumph in space exploration. The olive branch is a symbol of peace, underscoring the idea that this great achievement was a peaceful one, meant to unite humanity in the pursuit of knowledge and discovery. The coin's design was masterfully crafted by artists Frank Gasparo and Irving W. Rice, and it perfectly captured the spirit of the times, proud, ambitious, and hopeful for the future. It was a coin that not only honored the legacy of President Eisenhower but also celebrated one of the greatest milestones in human history, the moon landing. However, when the 1971 Eisenhower dollar was first minted, it wasn't necessarily seen as a collector's item. In fact, like many coins of its era, it was meant for general circulation. The dollar coin was larger and heavier than most coins at the time, making it somewhat impractical for everyday use. People simply weren't accustomed to carrying around such a large coin, and as a result, it didn't circulate as widely as the U.S. Mint had hoped. But over time, collectors began to take notice of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar, especially those in pristine condition. Coins that were well preserved or those that had been kept in mint condition were seen as valuable commodities. The coin became a collector's dream, particularly as fewer and fewer uncirculated pieces were available. As the years passed and the coin became rarer, its value began to increase. What sets the 1971 Eisenhower dollar apart from other coins in the series is its historical significance. Not only does it honor a president who helped shape the 20th century, but it also commemorates a moment in time when the United States stood at the peak of its technological and cultural achievements. The coin serves as a reminder of the triumph of the Apollo 11 mission, which captured the world's attention and inspired generations to come. The eagle on the reverse, landing on the moon, is not just a symbol of strength but also of the human spirit's drive to explore the unknown and reach for the stars. But it's not just the design that makes this coin valuable. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar was minted in large quantities, with over 100 million coins produced that year. Despite the high mintage, finding one in perfect condition is extremely rare. Coins that have been kept in mint condition, free from wear and tear, are highly sought after by collectors and can command staggering prices at auctions. The higher the grade of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that have been graded MS67 or higher, which means they are virtually flawless, are the ones that truly stand out and fetch top prices. The demand for these coins has only grown over time. As more people discover the 1971 Eisenhower dollar and its historical value, the price has steadily risen. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone looking to invest in a piece of American history, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar offers a unique opportunity to own a piece of the past, one that continues to grow in value as time goes on. And now, here comes the exciting part. The value of a 1971 Eisenhower dollar in mint condition can be absolutely astounding. While typical examples of the coin may not command much more than their face value, those in exceptional condition, with perfect features and sharp details, can fetch incredible sums at auction. One such coin recently sold for a staggering $145,000, a testament to the enduring appeal and significance of this American icon. In conclusion, the 1971 Eisenhower dollar is much more than just a coin. It's a symbol of American achievement, of leadership, and of exploration. It's a coin that reflects the spirit of a nation that reached for the stars and beyond. For collectors, it represents an opportunity to own a piece of history, a treasure that grows more valuable with each passing year. So, if you happen to come across a 1971 Eisenhower dollar in perfect condition, remember that you might be holding something worth $145,000. Top 2. The United States of America has produced countless coins over its long history, each holding its own unique significance and value. Among these, the Eisenhower $1 coin, particularly the 1972 edition, stands out as an iconic piece of American numismatic history. To truly appreciate this coin, we must step back in time and explore not only its design but also its historical context, minting details, and why it has become such a valuable treasure for collectors today. In 1972, America was in the midst of profound social and political change. The nation was transitioning from the turbulent 1960s into a more complex and unpredictable era. While the country was still feeling the impact of the Vietnam War and the cultural shifts of the 1960s, it was also a time of economic challenges and technological progress. The Apollo space program was still fresh in the collective memory, and the United States had recently made history with the moon landing in 1969. It was against this backdrop that the 1972 Eisenhower dollar was minted. This coin is named after Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States. A celebrated World War II general and the leader who helped steer the nation through the post-war years, Eisenhower's legacy was immense. He played a pivotal role in shaping the world's post-war order and is best remembered for his leadership during the Cold War. As a result, the decision to honor him on a coin was a way to both recognize his personal achievements and the nation's accomplishments during his presidency. The design of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar is something truly remarkable. On the obverse, we see a profile of President Eisenhower, his features finely etched in a way that conveys both strength and wisdom. The detail in the design captures his solemn gaze, a fitting tribute to a leader who guided the country through some of the most challenging periods of the 20th century. However, it's the reverse of the coin that truly tells a story of its own. The reverse features an eagle landing on the moon, its talons gripping an olive branch. This design was a direct reference to the successful Apollo 11 moon landing, one of America's crowning achievements during the space race. The olive branch symbolizes peace, while the eagle's stance on the moon represents triumph, exploration, and the reach of American ingenuity. This coin, therefore, doesn't just commemorate Eisenhower, it also celebrates one of the most significant accomplishments in human history, the successful landing of a man on the moon. But while the coin itself is beautiful and steeped in historical meaning, its value wasn't immediately recognized by the public. When the 1972 Eisenhower dollar was first minted, it was intended for circulation like any other dollar coin. However, due to the size of the coin and a lack of demand for a large dollar coin, it didn't find widespread use in daily transactions. The coin's large size, about the size of a $half but thicker and heavier, made it less practical for daily circulation, and as a result, it became more of a collector's item. Fast forward a few decades, and the 1972 Eisenhower dollar began to appreciate in value. As collectors sought out these coins in excellent condition, the value began to rise, especially for those that were in mint state, coins that had been carefully preserved without any signs of wear. Over time, finding one of these coins in pristine condition became rarer, and the coin's value skyrocketed as demand grew. But what makes the 1972 Eisenhower dollar truly special? It's a combination of several factors. First, it was one of the earlier issues in the Eisenhower dollar series, making it historically significant. Second, its design is a masterpiece, blending the tribute to Eisenhower's leadership with the representation of America's technological prowess and ambition. Third, the coin was minted in large quantities, which means that many of them were heavily circulated and thus damaged over time. This makes finding a 1972 Eisenhower dollar in near-perfect condition a rare treasure indeed. While a typical 1972 Eisenhower dollar might not be worth much more than its face value, those in mint condition, those that have been graded as MS-67 or higher, have become highly sought after by collectors. These coins are prized for their sharp details, their smooth surfaces, and the fact that they have escaped the usual wear and tear that most coins experience. Coins of this caliber can fetch astonishing prices at auctions or private sales, especially when they are part of a rare or limited supply. It's not uncommon for collectors to hold on to their 1972 Eisenhower dollars, hoping to sell them when the time is right. And the time has definitely come for those who own this coin in exceptional condition. One particularly well-preserved 1972 Eisenhower dollar recently sold for a staggering $135,000. This isn't just an isolated incident either. Coins of this caliber, with their perfect features and historical significance, are becoming increasingly valuable as time goes on. Why does the price continue to climb? The answer lies in the unique combination of factors surrounding this coin. First, its connection to Eisenhower, one of the most influential figures in 20th century American history, makes it significant. Second, the reverse design, which celebrates America's triumph in space exploration, adds an additional layer of value. Lastly, the rarity of finding a 1972 Eisenhower dollar in mint condition means that the supply is limited, and demand is high. As the years go by and fewer pristine examples of the coin remain in circulation, the value of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar will continue to rise. The coin stands as a testament to both a remarkable leader and a remarkable time in history. A time when America was pushing the boundaries of possibility, exploring the moon, and looking to the stars. For those who are lucky enough to own one of these coins, they're not just holding onto a piece of currency, they're holding onto a piece of the American dream. In conclusion, the 1972 Eisenhower dollar is not just a coin, it's a piece of history, a tribute to American leadership and innovation, and a rare treasure for collectors. Its value is a reflection of the lasting impact of Dwight D. Eisenhower's legacy and the nation's historic achievements. And if you ever come across a 1972 Eisenhower dollar in excellent condition, remember this: you're holding on to something that could very well be worth $135,000. Top 3. You might not think twice about an old coin rattling in your drawer, But what if I told you that one of those forgotten pieces of pocket change, specifically a 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, could be the key to a six-figure treasure? Sounds unbelievable, right? But hold on tight, because the journey of this iconic American coin is full of surprises, stories, and serious value. Let's set the stage. It's the early 1970s in America, a time of transformation. The nation was reeling from the Vietnam War, navigating the political chaos of the Watergate scandal, and still glowing with pride from the moon landing just a few years earlier. It was during this complex and compelling era that the U.S. Mint introduced a coin to honor one of the most respected leaders in American history, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Eisenhower wasn't just any president, he was the supreme commander of Allied forces during World War II, a two-term U.S. president, and a symbol of strength, unity, and calm leadership during some of America's most uncertain times. When he passed away in 1969, the nation wanted to remember him. And what better way to commemorate a figure of his stature than to create a coin bearing his name and likeness? The Eisenhower dollar was first minted in 1971, and by 1974, it had firmly taken its place in American currency. But this wasn't your everyday coin. This was the first dollar coin struck by the U.S. Mint since the peace dollar ended in 1935, and unlike most coins of the time, it was huge, measuring over 38 millimeters in diameter and weighing in at 22.68 grams. The obverse of the coin featured a commanding profile of Eisenhower himself, designed by Frank Gasparo. His expression is serious, resolute, and perfectly captures the essence of a man who led nations to victory and guided a country through change. But flip the coin over, and things get even more exciting. The reverse shows an eagle landing on the moon, its wings spread wide, talons gripping an olive branch, symbolizing peace. Behind it? The surface of the moon, scattered with craters and stars. This stunning image wasn't just random, it was modeled after the Apollo 11 mission insignia. That's right, the Eisenhower dollar doesn't just honor a president. It celebrates the single most daring mission in human history, when mankind took its first steps on the moon. By 1974, these coins were struck using a copper-nickel-clad composition. Most were produced for general circulation at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while some special collector versions were minted in San Francisco. But here's the twist: despite being minted in the millions, finding a 1974 Eisenhower dollar in pristine condition today is incredibly rare. Why? Because these coins weren't babied. They were tossed in change drawers, stuffed in pockets, used in vending machines, and taken to casinos where they clanged endlessly across slot machines. Most of them got scratched, dented, worn down, and forgotten. But every once in a while, a few lucky pieces avoided that rough life. Some were pulled straight from freshly unsealed mint rolls and placed immediately into protective holders. Others were purchased by collectors who knew how to preserve their treasures. And it's those rare survivors that now attract the attention of serious coin collectors and investors across the world. The value of a 1974 Eisenhower dollar depends heavily on condition. A coin that looks just average might fetch a few dollars. But if it's uncirculated? If it shines with original luster, has sharp details, and shows no signs of wear? Now you're talking about serious money. And if a coin features unique minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or being struck on the wrong metal planchet, its value skyrockets even further. These kinds of coins are numismatic goldmines, because they combine history, rarity, and curiosity in one unique piece of metal. Now think about this. How many hands has a regular coin passed through? Dozens? Hundreds? Maybe even thousands over the decades. And yet, there are coins that have somehow survived untouched, unblemished, and unbroken. They're the unicorns of the coin world, exceptional, flawless examples that defy the odds. And when one of those flawless 1974 Eisenhower $1 coins surfaces, graded by experts, protected for decades, and gleaming with perfection, it becomes the centerpiece of an auction, a collector's dream, and a symbol of what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Collectors and investors bid fiercely for these coins. Not just for the metal. Not just for the design. But for the story of a leader, a legacy, and A Leap for Mankind, all engraved onto one circular canvas of copper and nickel. So, the next time you're sorting through old change, exploring your grandparents' attic, or walking through a flea market, keep your eyes open. That oversized dollar coin you almost dismissed as a relic of the past might be hiding a secret. It might be your golden ticket, because one extraordinary example of the 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, perfectly preserved, dazzling in its condition, and rich with history, was once sold for an astonishing $105,000. Top 4. There are coins, and then there are coins that transcend time, connecting the past, present, and future in a way that makes them more than just currency. The 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin is one of those coins. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of history, a relic that captures an era of American triumph, technological advances, and bold leadership. Imagine it. The year is 1979. America is recovering from the cultural and political upheaval of the 1960s and 70s. People are reflecting on the decade of civil rights movements, political scandals, and space exploration. The world is changing, and so is the way America looks at its legacy. It was a time of optimism, mixed with the uncertainty of the future. The United States had already sent humans to the moon, and the country was on the brink of new challenges. And into this unique time, the 1979 Eisenhower dollar emerged. But why this coin? Why was it so special? The 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin wasn't the first of its kind, but it became part of a larger vision to revive the dollar coin after decades of absence. First minted in 1971, the Eisenhower dollar was named after one of the most iconic U.S. leaders of the 20th century, Dwight D. Eisenhower. The coin honored the general who had led Allied forces to victory during World War II and later served 2 terms as president. His leadership had a lasting impact on both the military and civilian sectors, and this coin was a tribute to his legacy. Now, the 1979 version is particularly notable because it was part of a shift in design and its role in circulation. Up until this point, coins had been struck to reflect the times they were minted, but the Eisenhower dollar had a distinctive look that was deeply tied to both history and contemporary culture. The obverse of the coin displayed a striking profile of President Eisenhower, his face etched in a way that spoke to his strength and resilience. On the reverse, the coin showed an eagle landing on the moon, talons gripping an olive branch, a symbol of peace, victory, and the great achievements of the Apollo space missions. The design was rich with symbolism, a reminder of America's achievements both on Earth and in space. But what makes the 1979 Eisenhower dollar truly captivating today is its rarity in pristine condition. Coins, especially those in regular circulation, are subjected to wear and tear. Over time, they get scratched, nicked, and lose their luster. For most coins, this is the expected fate. But the 1979 Eisenhower dollar wasn't just any coin. It was a large, heavy dollar piece that people handled with care or simply forgot in pockets and jars. Some of these coins, over time, were treated like regular pocket change. However, every once in a while, a few of these pieces escaped the usual damage that most circulated coins endured. Imagine one of these coins in perfect condition, as if it had just left the mint. It would show little to no signs of wear, its details sharp and vibrant. Such pristine examples are incredibly rare. That's where the true value lies. Coin collectors around the world know that the 1979 Eisenhower dollar, when found in mint state, is a treasure. These coins are sought after not just because of their size, but because of their design, historical significance, and the scarcity of flawless examples. And it's not just the standard mint issues that catch the eye of collectors. Errors, such as double dies or off-center strikes, only add to the coin's allure. In fact, one of the most exciting parts of numismatics is discovering a coin with a minting error, something that makes it even more unique, even more valuable. A coin that would have otherwise been seen as a mistake is suddenly a golden opportunity for collectors who are always on the lookout for something rare. The demand for well-preserved 1979 Eisenhower dollars has only increased as time has gone on. As more coins get lost, damaged, or forgotten, the few surviving examples in perfect condition become even more desirable. The coin has become more than just a historical artifact. It represents a moment in time when the U.S. Mint, the country, and the world were all in transition. It's a physical reminder of a time when America was looking ahead, towards new frontiers in space and technology. Now, let's talk about the moment when all of this comes together, the rare opportunity to acquire one of these coins in top-notch condition. This is when the real value starts to shine. When you're holding one of these pristine examples of the 1979 Eisenhower dollar, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a piece of history. This is where the magic happens, and the price goes from mere dollars to something far more extraordinary. It's hard to imagine that a single coin can tell such a compelling story. But this particular piece of history, the 1979 Eisenhower dollar, has done just that. It combines the values of leadership, peace, and exploration all in one simple but stunning design. And the fact that it can be found in near-perfect condition today makes it not just a collector's item, but a true investment. In fact, one particularly flawless 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin, carefully preserved, graded by experts, and as close to perfection as you can get, was sold for a jaw-dropping $125,000.